It is an annual rite of spring in central Pennsylvania. The Penn State Blue-White football game at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley. The fans have come to see their favorite players meet the new young stars. Even though the weather is bad, hey, it's Penn State football, and the hardy fans in Happy Valley are excited. I'm Frank Gardenia, along with former Penn State quarterback star Michael Robinson. And Mike, for this team, they're just happy to be outside. It's the first time to go outside, and even though the weather is damp, enthusiasm's high.
Absolutely, and that's our fans. That's the Penn State Nittany Nation. They come out, they support our players every step of the way, and it's a great free game where they can get an opportunity to see a preview of the team next year.
The weather has been bad this spring. They have been indoors. What's the difference now when you come outside? How does that change things for these guys?
Well, because you're indoors so much, I think you'll see a lot more intermediate passes. You're not going to see as much down the field passes because they haven't worked on it, unless some of the quarterbacks get a little antsy and want to go downfield. But it's wet. They haven't been outside. I look forward to seeing a lot of intermediate passes and checkdowns.
Quarterbacks are always a focal point of any spring game. Penn State's got some good young talent there today.
Absolutely. Both quarterbacks, all four of them actually, have the skill set to be great quarterbacks and lead this team. I'm excited to see them.
It's the Blue-White football game here in Happy Valley. We'll be back after this. Well, the weather isn't very nice, but the coaches are still smiling. You see Joe Paterno there as we get ready for the start of this Blue-White football game, and we will be starting here in just a moment. Frank Gardenia, Mike Robinson with you here, the Nittany Lion. The weather doesn't keep him away. He's like the mailman. The rain, sleet, snow, doesn't matter. Look at the Lion, big grin on his face. Fans are here. The turnout is amazing, and the Blue squad will have the football, and Mike will get a look at Rob Bolden here, the young quarterback from Michigan. Bolden throwing on his first play, and it's intercepted on the far side of the field.
Now, again, they haven't been outside once all spring. And, again, like we said earlier, the deep ball will be effective.
That's some walk-on wide receivers with this group. Over the middle, and it's knocked away, incomplete.
Looked like he tried to force that pass a little bit. They went 4 verticals. Again, this is the first time this team has been outside all spring. So deep passes, seam routes and things like that they come up different when you're indoors. You know, there's no wind, there's no the ball isn't wet.
Pass was knocked away by Jake Fagano, number 27 again. Now here are some of the injuries. When we mentioned these teams, both groups are working with a lot of walk-on wide receivers, and one of the reasons is the list of injured players. Curtis Drake, that's a big one.
Yeah, and Curtis Drake is a tremendous talent. I mean, the kid just has to stay on the field, you know, but he's a tremendous talent.
He will not play this fall either, doesn't appear. Now, Derek Moy is out also, but he'll be fine for the fall. You see, that's a pretty good – you could form a pretty good squad with a group of players that are hurt. But not having Derek Moy out here, these quarterbacks who are trying to, you know, impress you a little bit, they'd love to have some veteran wideouts, wouldn't they?
Oh, yes. I mean, they're like your insurance policy. You know, you know they're going to be in the right place. You can throw the ball, and they're going to try their best to go get it. I was watching film on them the last few days, and this wide receiver corps, I mean, they might be the most talented wide receiver corps that Penn State has had around here in a long time. And they should be real exciting coming fall.
So here's Kevin Newsom again, another look at the youngster from Virginia. Floats this out to the fullback. Caught across the 30, that's Byers. P.J. Byers, walk-on from Harrison City, PA.
Again, you got to let the fullback eat a little bit. And great play call. Most screens don't go to the fullback, so your fullbacks get kind of lost in the sauce in the screen game.
He's a great story, Byers, number 45. He's 25, 26 years old. He was formerly a Navy diver. He's come back to college, wants to play football, and he's added a nice lift to this team. Mature guy, physical.
He definitely is physical. I mean, he was throwing some crushing blocks on film. Bad weather conditions, you're going to get a lot of tips and things like that. Daryl Clark in the building, Orange Bowl shirt on, great quarterback.
He's thinking of warm weather, man.
Yeah.
That Orange Bowl shirt from Miami here on a very un-Orange Bowl-like day. No oranges growing today.
One thing I can say about that kid, man, Daryl Clark, you know, again, while the quarterbacks comparisons are coming up, you know, I try to tell Rob, I try to tell Matt, you know, while that guy's in town, learn as much as you possibly can from when I was here. You know, Daryl did a great job following everything I did, you know, sitting down in the film room and going over things with me.
That was Ryan Kaiser, by the way, on that last play with the near interception, youngster from Selinsgrove. Here's McGloin throwing the football. Nice throw.
Great timing.
Against Manheim Central High School. Take a look at the 2000 schedule here for Penn State. This is one of the more attractive home schedules in Nittany Lion history. A couple of them jump out to me, Michael.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, especially November 12th, Nebraska. And then, you know, even the 2 games after that, that'll be the stretch. I think those 3 games at the end of the season, that'll tell whether we'll be there in that Big Ten championship game.
Alabama here on September 10th. The Crimson Tide coming here for the first time, I think, since 1989 when Bill Curry brought his team here. And then, as you said, Nebraska, November 12th. You look at that and you think, well, that's an intersectional non-conference game. Not anymore.
No.
That's a conference game now. It's Nebraska's first year in the Big Ten. And not easy to hang on to the football. 2nd and long, minute 21 to play.
Fullback in the flat.
And there he is. Nice catch at the 35 by Zordich, and he's all the way down inside the 20. Again, a veteran McGloin to the veteran Michael Zordich. Penn State's fullbacks have always been guys who could catch the ball out of the backfield.
Well, you kind of have to, because, you know, sometimes they line up in the tight end position, sometimes they're in the backfield. You have to be able to catch the ball along with blocking in this offense.
It's a nice gain for the blue squad, and they're down to the white 17 now with 1:09 to play. Get a chance to work against the clock here, which is good work for this unit, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's a real game situation. You're in these situations in the fall.
McGloin going for the end zones. Got a man, touchdown. I think that's Mosby Felder who has the blue penny on over the white jersey. Brandon Mosby Felder, youngster from Fort Washington, Maryland, with the grab.
I mean, that was a great throw. I mean, but the job up front by the offensive line, I mean, I don't think Matt's been touched all day. He sits back there. I mean, he's in the pocket, set up straight, let the ball go on a double move. It's a post corner, and made a great throw in the back of the end zone.
There's some backup offensive linemen in there as well. 72, Cameron Cole was in on that play. As Penn State is developing a lot of depth on the offensive line, and they're starting to see the line become a little more cohesive this spring. That's a big, big plus for any football team. The first half comes to an end here at Beaver Stadium. It's a rainy, cold, kind of a miserable day on the field, but the fans are here at Beaver Stadium. They're tucked underneath the roof, but they have come out in amazing numbers. 10-0 our score. The blue team leads the white. We'll be back with more after this. It is halftime here of the blue-white football game. Frank Gardenia, Michael Robinson, and our pleasure to be joined by Penn State head coach Joe Paterno. Joe, it's a nasty day out here, but I know you've seen some things you like. What have you seen?
Well, it's been nice to see Michael Robinson. That's about, I can say that. Well, you know, we try to make the game competitive. I think we've done that. We've split up the squads, and so I think we're getting what we want to get out of it. But it's not very exciting. The fans are. We don't have the kind of crowd we usually have. The weather's bad, but overall, I think it's pretty good.
Coach, what have you seen? I know you've answered this question a million times. What have you seen out of your quarterbacks as far as decision making this spring?
Well, you know, now it's hard to pinpoint exactly whether this kid did that. We will, you know, I'll look at those tapes tomorrow, and then we have staff meetings all next week to decide on different things. But I think they all showed some poise, you know, and they're hustling.
Yeah.
And I think that part is positive. You'd like to see a little bit more, you know, guy doing some things, but hey. We're out the first time we've been outside all spring.
Yeah.
So,
Joe, so many great players in this program, but Michael Robinson was certainly one of the more significant guys in recent years. You saw him in grow up so much in so many ways. How proud are you of what he's done?
Well, I'm proud of him not only because of what he's done as a football player, but he's always been a real asset to his family, himself. And as we're proud to say, he played football at Penn State, and I think Michael was a heck of a player, and was and still is a heck of a person.
He feels the same way. I know about his experience here as well. Joe, one last thought. Nebraska coming into the Big Ten, outstanding program. How excited are you for that?
Well, I had tried to get an Eastern school in. I was trying to get Rutgers or Syracuse or maybe Pitt. And I was very surprised when they told me they were going to get Nebraska. I think that's a real coup. It's not going to make the league any easier, obviously, but they run a good program, a good all-around sports program. Tommy Osborne is a heck of a guy and a fine athletic director. And we have been playing Nebraska almost since I came here. 1954, we played against them. So I think it's a real asset, going to make our schedule tougher. But, hey, that's what the fans like.
Joe, thanks for coming up. I know you're busy, so many people to see. Thanks for being here.
Well, I just want to make sure you all take good care of Michael. Okay, Gardenia. I know that you'll take care of him. He took care of me for 4 years. Now I hope everybody's taking care of him.
Thank you, Coach.
Good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
Great to visit with Coach Paterno. We'll be back after this. Well, you can tell it is a driving rainstorm here at Beaver Stadium. It's been bad all day. It's worse now, and the Nittany Lion is ready to get in the pool. He's got his floaty on. He's ready to go. He's got the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand, even on a bad day of weather. They're expecting about 2 inches of rain here today, and those are the conditions that we're playing the Penn State Blue-White game under here at Happy Valley. Frank Gardenia, Michael Robinson with you. Fans, Michael, they are amazing. They still try to watch what they can.
Absolutely, and it reminds me of some of the times that I was here in '04 and we were losing and we were still selling out. Yep. I mean, that's our fans.
They love their football. Take a look at the new divisions in the Big Ten. This is something I know that Joe Paterno is very excited about. 2 divisions and a Big Ten championship game, the Legends division and the Leaders division. Penn State will be in the Leaders division with Ohio State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois. You look at these divisions, Michael, you certainly see it gives the Big Ten a different look.
Absolutely, and first and foremost, it gives the Big Ten a championship game, finally. I mean, for years, I mean, you would have a Big Ten champion and they have to share it with somebody and things like that. I think in '05, on paper, we shared it with Ohio State, but we beat them head-to-head.
And the championship game will be in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Lucas Oil Stadium, which, by the way, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, who play, of course, in Lucas Oil Stadium, and the Super Bowl will be played there as well, is a former Penn State assistant. Jim Caldwell was my neighbor in State College. So there's a lot of Penn State flavor in Lucas Oil Stadium, and the Nittany Lions hope there'll be more on December 3rd. Everybody would love to be in the championship game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they couldn't have picked a better city, a better place to have it.
Well, with 10 minutes to play in the third quarter, they may have seen some bad weather or lightning, but in any result, the teams are heading off the field, the blue squad and the white squad. So our score 10-0 blue, and with about 9 minutes to play in the third quarter, both teams head to the locker room. We'll be back with more here at Beaver Stadium after this. Well, when you think of college football, you don't always think of walking the midway, but you have a chance to do that when you come to the Penn State Spring Football game, the blue-white game. On Friday, the weather was perfect. A lot of fans enjoyed the carnival. This is what we got, though, on Saturday for game day. a rough day, a driving rainstorm here at Beaver Stadium, and the game had to be stopped at halftime because of weather conditions. We did get 2 quarters of good football in, though, today. Frank Gardenia and Mike Robinson back with you here from Beaver Stadium. I really think, Michael, that the coaching staff saw what they wanted to see here today. Despite the weather, despite the rain, they saw some things they wanted to see.
Well, first and foremost, they got a chance to get outside. You know, they got a chance to look at some young players, especially with some key injuries. They got a chance to look at some young players in this environment, in a game environment, where they can showcase their skills. They turned the ball over a couple of times, but it's a rainy day. You know, the field's messed up. But I think they're happy with it. I mean, look at the schedules. I mean, look at what the Big Ten is putting out in the National Football League. It's great football being played in the elements, and that's what football is all about.
I think if the coaching staff looked at this spring, they would say mission accomplished with this Penn State football team, as you saw a lot of development from some young players and a lot of good young talent throughout the course of the spring. They also would say the best part, Michael, no one got hurt.
Absolutely. You want to come out of spring practice with everybody close to being healthy or healthy. And I think in general, the team came out great.
So it was a lousy day here weather-wise today in Happy Valley. The game had to be stopped at halftime, but we still saw some good football and whet the appetite for fans for next year. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference. A rainy day in Happy Valley, but that's Penn State football, especially as you get into the meat of the schedule. The fans were here. The players put on a good show for a half at Beaver Stadium today. That's all the time we have for today's blue-white football game. For Michael Robinson, this is Frank Gardenia saying so long from Beaver Stadium.